now to your 17 Court Watch. An accused copper wire thief was charged today with 48 felonies and 5 misdemeanors. 46-year-old Christopher Williams and his son were arrested Thursday afternoon in the Buttonwillow area after getting away from private security and escaping a search by CHP officers and KCSO deputies earlier in the day.
An update now on a story we first brought you last week. Philadelphia police arresting 5 people in connection with a scheme to steal copper wiring from city streetlights. Police say the thieves were actually caught in the act.
And in one night alone, they say the suspects netted $10,000 worth of copper.
Did a great job. They caught them in the act.
Caught these 5 men in the act of stealing the copper wiring out of Philadelphia streetlights and lampposts. All 5 facing multiple felony charges. The 5 with backpacks and a big trash can on wheels filled with copper wiring.
Welcome to the show.
Hey everybody, welcome to the show. Did you see that bunch? Oh my god, that's exactly the type of people I would actually picture would be stealing copper and selling it. But man, look at those guys. But this is actually a nationwide trend. And it's not happening in red states, it's happening in blue states, and actually blue cities mostly. And these copper thieves are getting very bold. And the stuff that they're doing now is shutting down entire neighborhoods, just taking power from entire neighborhoods, city parks, traffic lights, things like that. They are literally taking it from the city. They are going and taking down lamp posts, taking all the wire out of it. And they say that they're getting $10,000 a night, these rings of these crackheads, I call them, or, meth billies, whatever you call them. But anyways, guys, I'm not going to waste your time too much on this. The story's going to tell itself. Check it out.
Approximately 13 bundles of copper wire from the group, and its approximated value of $10,000.
This was just from a fraction of all the copper wiring that's been stolen, city officials say, from so many streetlights in Port Richmond, Fishtown, and other neighborhoods, now dark with no wiring to power them on.
We've had other reports from around the city of copper wire theft from their lampposts, so it wasn't necessarily a surprise per se. However, the fact that they were able to successfully remove the copper wiring from 19 lampposts does raise some concerns.
One morning I came here, the lights were gone. Everything was out.
It's not just city lights. This Italian restaurant, just 1 block off Richmond Street, where more than 100 city street lights had the copper wiring cut out, lost its lights and wiring too. Surveillance video showed the thief taking all the restaurant's lights down, off the awning and the patio from both sides of Il Gattoni restaurant early May 20th.
Bold.
The thief then filled a shopping cart with all the restaurant's lights and wires and likely headed to a scrapyard to sell it all. And you learned they were copper wiring?
I didn't know at the time. We found out afterwards, and it made sense why they were cut off.
Anything made with copper, they steal it.
We know that these people do it over and over and over again.
Unscrupulous scrap dealers buying the copper over and over again, Councilman Mark Squilla says, need to be more closely checked.
When they're returning time after time, and then, how much wire do people have in their basements that are going to turn it in for scrap? After a while, these guys aren't getting this from their own house. They're getting it from somewhere else. It's not only to say, they only took a little bit of wire, but they put neighborhoods in the dark for months until we go back and fix it again. So it's not only a quality of life issue, it's a safety issue.
Whoa, look at that.
So you know that old Sears parking lot in St. Paul? Well, the fire department says over the weekend they had a magnificent display of power and energy, but not in a good way. I mean, this one was really dangerous, and the fire department thinks it might have been because people were trying to steal copper wire from underneath the parking lot. So here's what happened. There was a big explosion. It tripped up 2 of the electrical boxes. Well, then that caused the wires to detach from power lines, and then they went down onto a minivan, and that caused a huge fire there.
Copper thieves on the prowl again, and neighbors say this likely will not be the last time. Thanks for staying with us here at 6.
You know, they vote Republican up there.
Lavin. It is lights out at a North Seattle park because of all the damage those thieves caused.
Star 7's Jason Sloss joining us live now in Crown Hill. And Jason, folks there say this definitely has made the area less safe for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you say, the park is dark. The lights don't work because of this. This damage right here, thanks to copper thieves.
The park is dark.
That's just a small bit. Now, one man who lives nearby says he caught a couple copper thieves in the act, but didn't get the response he wanted.
It's happening everywhere.
911.
This is one of the spots they were pulling the wires.
Crown Hill resident Clark Sheff says 2 suspicious guys with tools along Northwest 85th Street caught his eye around 2 in the morning early last week.
I noticed them on the traffic camera from my home. I look at that every now and then to see what's going on.
He went outside and saw the men quickly getting into 2 utility boxes along the sidewalk.
The one guy that was at the end over there was probably cutting it, and this guy here was just pulling wires through and just wrapping it around his arm like I see guys doing with extension cords at construction sites, you know.
How much wiring was he getting?
I was thinking at least 100 feet or so. And I asked him, I'm like, so what are you going for? He's like, oh, copper.
Sheff says he then called 911.
I get on the phone, and I guess somebody else called it in too, because they're like, oh, is it 2 guys? We have another call for that. I'm like, yeah, I'm right here. They're doing it right now.
Sheff says he called 911 again as the 2 men worked their way down the street, stealing more wiring.
Only response I got was one of the dispatchers was like, are you following him? Are you following them? I'm like, that just happened to be walking the same way.
Wow, look at
they
that.
seemed to be upset that I was maybe following and just giving them updates.
Don't follow them.
Yeah, I mean, what can I do? You know, I'm sitting there actively watching it, giving them a play-by-play, and no response.
Then late last week, Sheff
Seattle,
noticed nearby
it's what you voted for, unfortunately, bud.
More boxes pried open with wires cut.
I don't know if it's the same crew or if the lighting at least brought more visibility to the park and, you know, kept it a little better. Yeah, just afraid of when they fix it, if they're just somebody's gonna come by and yank out wires again.
Well, there you go, guys. I guess it is a new trend for crackheads to be ripping out lamppost wiring and all this crap. And as you notice, it's just happening in liberal cities. This might be the way the illegal aliens are like funding their families now, since Trump took away that $6,000 or $7,000 a month they were getting out off the taxpayers. But anyways, guys, I just thought I'd share this. It's happening all over the place, I guess. There's a lot more videos. I just couldn't put them in here because it's just the same story over and over. Crackheads just stealing copper and selling it. But if you haven't liked, like. If you haven't commented, comment. If you haven't subscribed, do that. And I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.